entered 2020, we all got excited. An amazing year. Everything was going to be perfect.
The biggest loss is I love being with people in person.
I mean, there's so much that's happened. Sometimes I forget that we've been in this pandemic since March.
I do not believe that normal will be defined in the same way post-COVID. And the truth is, some of that's good.
If we fail to take a step back and think deeply about the future that we want to build together, that would be a huge missed opportunity.
This is a time when our society really confronted a set of interconnected issues, and we said, we have to address this.
There's a lot more listening and a lot more learning going on, and a recognition that there's some injustices in our society that have been there and have been there in many cases for hundreds of years.
I will not be discriminated because of my color. I'm not going to be discriminated because of my culture or of my, of my religion, of who I am. I'll be accepted. I'll be in a room with different people, coding, looking into AI.
Technology is our new infrastructure. And I believe there could be lasting positive results from this very difficult time.
And you see some of the lasting changes already, right? I mean, take healthcare. I think there's, when you think about telemedicine, we've been talking about it for decades, but now all outpatient care will probably start with an AI triage tool.
Who would have imagined 6 months ago if you'd have said, everybody's gonna work from home and people will feel even more connected?
We are starting to see more adults catch up. I've had to teach my parents how to use Zoom and Instagram during the pandemic.
So we're seeing businesses accelerate the digitization of every part of their operations, whether from manufacturing to sales to customer service.
When I'm optimistic, I think that this will be the time when we say we're going to deal with climate change. We're going to bend the arc of history towards justice.
Our social discourse will change. Our social systems are changing. Policing will change.
There's work for me to do. There's work for us to do. And if we do it together with the same vision for where we're trying to get, there's nothing we can't do.
Thank you for joining us here at VMworld 2020. So excited to have members of the VMware community joining us from every corner of the globe for our first ever all-digital VMworld event. While disappointing to not be together, it's great to be connecting virtually with more of you than ever. And we have lots in store for you today. Understatement of the year, 2020 has been extraordinary and challenging. Against this backdrop, we're in the midst of a profound rethink across every dimension of our lives. How we care for our sick, how we connect, how we live, how we worship, how we learn, and how we work. At the center of this profound rethink is digital innovation. We're seeing a historic increase in our reliance on apps, clouds, devices. Our strategy is resonating more powerfully than ever. This ability to access any app on any cloud, on any device. This is truly a unique community, and at the heart of it is you, our customers, plus our valued partners around the world, and Team VMware now more than 33,000 strong. It's gratifying to help support your teams as we navigate this chapter of human history together. Many of you are at the forefront of our current environment. I think about a customer like Zoom as we help them scale to meet massive demand, or Picnic, a Dutch online supermarket using software to eliminate food waste in their operations, or Moderna at the forefront of our search for a vaccine. In 2020, we've proven to ourselves empathy plus urgency is a powerful combination. Our mantra is simple: care deeply and act decisively. One of the best examples of this is Feeding America, a remarkable organization that we're privileged to work with. Let's watch.
I could see the line of cars for miles. I worried that we wouldn't have enough food. The San Antonio Food Bank is one of the 200 food banks that make up Feeding America.
During COVID crisis, our lines increased and our ability to serve changed. Feeding America uses VMware in our data centers so we can gain insights immediately on where our demand is and respond to it appropriately.
Food is so powerful. The child will say, "What's for dinner?" And mom says she doesn't know. When families don't have food, they miss out on all of that rich complexity that food offers.
Everything that we do at Feeding America is to ensure that no one in this country goes hungry.
I stayed till the end, till the last car was loaded. No one was turned away hungry. Thousands of volunteers, 1.5 million pounds of food. Our community's needs were met that day. We believe it was the largest domestic food distribution. It sent a message literally around the world.
We're thrilled to have the CEO of Feeding America join us, Claire Bobineau-Fontenot. Thank you so much for being with us, Claire. This has been an extraordinary year for Feeding America. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, around the country, people are really struggling. Along with the health pandemic is a food crisis. We estimate that there'll be about 53 million people around the United States who are going to suffer with food insecurity as a result of this pandemic. So when you invite me to the table, you're inviting them.
Would you say your strategy at Feeding America has changed due to the pandemic?
Yeah. I probably wouldn't even say that our strategy has changed as much as it's been validated and accelerated.
You've mentioned that digital innovation is key to supporting Feeding America's mission. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. It's fundamental to the work that we're doing. And as an example, we use technology through Meal Connect for being able to match people who have food with members of our network who need it, who then get that on to people in their communities who really are looking for ways to feed their families. We simply could not function today without technology, period.
I'm so glad that we can play a small part in your work. Can you envision a world where hunger is no longer an issue for people?
I can. In fact, our vision at Feeding America is an America where no one is hungry. I have a vision for the next 10 years. By the end of this decade, there's no reason why we cannot materially, sustainably, positively change the face of hunger in this country. I believe this crisis has created that burning platform where more people are aware of the issue than were in the past. I think it's our responsibility to make certain that with this heightened awareness, there's heightened activation, and we can get there. Absolutely.
Wow, a nation where there's no longer any hunger. I know our VMworld audience appreciates your insights, Claire, and we're so grateful to you for taking the time to join us today. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much for the invitation, and thanks for your partnership. We need you, man.
At VMware, we've been busy since VMworld 2019. We've expanded our capabilities in app dev and app modernization with the addition of Pivotal. We've expanded our security portfolio with the addition of Carbon Black, and our organic innovation engine continues to fire on all cylinders. For 2+ decades, you've trusted us with your digital infrastructure. We will continue to work hard to be your go-to innovator for all things infrastructure. But when you look at VMware today, we've spread our wings beyond infrastructure. We're shaping the future of digital in top priority areas for every business. Our strategy in a nutshell, we deliver the digital foundation for an unpredictable world. At the core of our strategy is your business, your apps, and your data. To power your business in the face of uncertainty, we deliver 5 critical building blocks. First, app modernization with Tanzu. Second, our multi-cloud portfolio with VMware Cloud. Together, app modernization and multi-cloud form the core stack. They go together like fish and chips. Then there's digital workspace, the key to driving employee engagement. And underlying it all, our virtual cloud networking portfolio. And perhaps most importantly, intrinsic security, architected into everything that we do. Putting it all together, the digital foundation for an unpredictable world. I've been blown away by the stories of our customers doing amazing things with the VMware platform this year. One story in particular that I love is American Hospital of Dubai. Let's take a look.
The city was under lockdown. I don't think anyone was really prepared for COVID.
Here, this is something new, something most of us never done it before, and the expectation was high.
We had to convert one of our field hotels into a field hospital, pretty much functioning end-to-end within 72 hours.
American Hospital Dubai was established in 1996. It's a multi-specialty hospital.
The pandemic has forced us to look at technology and pushing it to the next norm. VMware is moving us to more of a hyper-converged infrastructure where it gives a lot more agility.
We had one patient, he was very sick, and he's gonna leave the hospital fully recovered and healed. So first he said, I have to pass by the ICU team, and he really gave them a big thank you. And they were so happy to see him again. You appreciate the hard work all the healthcare worker did to save his life.
I've connected over Zoom with hundreds of CEOs and CIOs over the last several months. What I hear is a deep sense of urgency. From hospitals on the front lines to schools, airlines, banks, retailers, car makers, all are under pressure to turn the corner and chart a path forward. They're looking to engage with customers in new ways, searching for a strategic lifeline to stability and growth. And at the heart of it all, software innovation. The next question becomes, how do we accelerate that software that will power our researchers, our educators, our small businesses, and our communities? Let's explore the app modernization piece of the digital foundation. Across VMware, we spend a lot of time analyzing the dynamic between dev and ops. For developers, they're constantly hitting a wall on the path to production. A developer typically spends less than 4 hours per day actually writing code. And what I hear from operations teams, I've got hundreds of apps to manage and secure across multiple clouds. 25 years ago, Java was introduced to the world as the write once, run anywhere language. For 4+ million Java developers, Spring is now the way you build modern applications. Spring gives developers a cloud-native architecture to build APIs and microservices and apps that run your business. But in today's multi-cloud world, we're yearning for the same ubiquity that Java gave us. The industry has come to a consensus. Kubernetes is the right tool to automate how we build and run containerized apps. Kubernetes is the de facto API for today's multi-cloud world. Much like Java 2 decades ago, Kubernetes is a rare technology that brings everyone together. What's the next step? We're working with the open source community to make Kubernetes enterprise consumable, making it easy to implement. A year ago at VMworld, we unveiled Tanzu, giving you everything you need to build, run, and modernize your app portfolio across any cloud via Kubernetes. We are delivering on that vision. Tanzu enables developers to get apps into production faster and deliver that code to any cloud. For ops teams, Tanzu provides a developer-ready infrastructure. Ops moves from the old ticket-driven approach to an automated API-driven model. What's the best way for us to demonstrate our belief in the power of Kubernetes? The answer is re-architect vSphere to put Kubernetes at the core. And that's exactly what we've done. What we called Project Pacific is now fully available. vSphere today is the best platform to run your virtualized apps and the best platform to run your containerized apps. We're putting enterprise-grade Kubernetes directly into the hands of millions of IT operators, no training required. A great example of Tanzu in action, JP Morgan Chase, the largest US bank. They've been on a multi-year cloud transformation, developing new infrastructure capabilities from the ground up. JPMC's adoption of modern app platforms, containers, and Kubernetes is transforming their developer experience and driving operational efficiencies. Now, they're bringing all this together, working with us to adopt VMware Cloud Foundation and Tanzu at true enterprise scale. I'm often asked, what's the future of apps? The answer lies in data. Data is the jet fuel of next-generation services. But how do we harness all that data? How do we extract insights? The answer? Artificial intelligence. Businesses are hungry to tap the power of AI. For example, high-throughput use cases for video analytics. In financial services, real-time streaming for fraud detection. In healthcare, AI is now vital to the race for a vaccine. But as exciting as these next-generation apps are, they're beyond the reach for mainstream organizations. In fact, enterprise AI adoption is stuck at just 10 to 15%. Today, we're changing all that. We're announcing a strategic partnership with Nvidia to unleash AI for every enterprise. I had a chance to connect with my old friend Jensen Huang, President, CEO of Nvidia. Here's a short clip from our conversation.
AI is the most powerful technology force of our time. We want to be able to put all of this capability in the hands of all the companies so that they could automate their business and products with AI.
I love that, Jensen, making AI available, democratizing it for every enterprise in the world today. That's what we're on a mission to do together.
We're going to bring NVIDIA AI computing platform and our AI application frameworks onto VMware.
We're building a horizontal platform for medical research, banking, financial services, retailers.
All of these new AI workloads that are coming into the data center is going to drive a reinvention of the data center.
The market's demanding these more and more sophisticated applications, cloud-native applications, larger data sets, more bandwidth requirements, lower latency, 5G. Well, today we're announcing the next big re-architecture of vSphere, Project Monterey.
The characteristics, the pillars of Project Monterey, of offloading the data center operating system onto the smart NIC, isolating the applications from the control plane and the data plane, and accelerating the data processing and security processing to line speed is going to make the data center so much more powerful, so much more performant.
Let's dive into cloud. There's a big shift in mindset among CIOs I talk to when it comes to multi-cloud. The old view, multi-cloud is a confusing mix of different services. It's a mess I need to clean up. Today, they have a different view. Multi-cloud is the strategic platform to move my business forward. Multi-cloud allows you to innovate by leveraging the strengths of different cloud services. But how do I make sure my multi-cloud strategy does not turn into a multi-silo story? With VMware Cloud, we're breaking down the walls between clouds. We're enabling you to run any app in any cloud and do it with operational consistency, security, and resiliency. Today, we have more than 15 million enterprise-class workloads running on VMware Cloud. Key to our cloud strategy, VMware Cloud and AWS, our first and preferred partner. We continue to see strong growth. Customers are nearly tripling the number of virtual machines year over year. Just one example is Freddie Mac. They're now running their business on VMware Cloud on AWS. Then there's Microsoft. Our joint Azure VMware solution is now available in North America, Europe, and Asia. And VMware Cloud now extends across all major hyperscalers, including Google, Oracle, Alibaba, IBM, and on-prem with VMware Cloud on Dell. We also have huge momentum across our 200-plus VMware Cloud verified partners. Our unique role at VMware, we are the unifying layer for today's multi-cloud world. The cornerstone of VMware Cloud is VMware Cloud Foundation, bringing together market-leading compute, storage, networking, and management, all in a single integrated stack. A great example of VMware Cloud in action, Daimler, one of the largest car makers in the world, is all in on VMware Cloud Foundation. Service providers are leveraging this same cloud approach as they build out 5G. At VMware, we call this the telco cloud. For enterprises, there's huge value in 5G and telco cloud. Powerful edge use cases where 5G will enable smart cities and factories and autonomous vehicles. Then there's enterprise 5G, which I predict will displace Wi-Fi globally. As one of the creators of Wi-Fi, that's a difficult statement to make. We're excited about the co-innovation we're driving with leaders in 5G. All of these leaders are leveraging VMware Telco Cloud. All of them are cloudifying their infrastructure to capture the advantages of an open, software-defined approach. In many ways, VMware is the operating system for 5G. We are very energized about the work we're doing with Vodafone. Their results are truly game-changing. 50% reduction in their OpEx and CapEx, 40% faster deployment. They've doubled the number of new services they're delivering into production. VMware Telco Cloud is now powering more than 75 Vodafone sites across Europe, Africa, and Asia. That's a look at the transformation we're driving in core telco networks. The next frontier, open up the radio access networks that connects all of our devices. Many thought that Open RAN was not possible. All that changed when VMware and Dish joined forces. Together, we're building the world's first Open RAN software-defined and cloud-native network, bringing 5G speed and performance to the majority of the U.S. population. The starting point is Open RAN for the U.S., and we believe the rest of the world will follow. This is a watershed moment for the telco industry, also opening up a path to resolving an important geopolitical conflict. And what's at the heart of that telco cloud? NSX, the same network that's powering your businesses and our entire multi-cloud universe. Today, we have over 17,000 plus NSX customers around the world, including 91 of the Fortune 100. We are the #1 SD-WAN vendor and a top 5 firewall vendor. With NSX, we're delivering a complete networking solution in software. That's more valuable than ever as businesses redistribute their network capacity, moving resources from the old headquarters model out to remote user locations. That's only possible if your network is software-defined. There are 4 dimensions to NSX's software-defined flexibility. First, scale your modern apps across multiple clouds automatically with advanced load balancing from Avi Networks. Second, intrinsically secure apps anywhere with service-defined firewall, now integrated with last line's threat detection. Third, extend your network out to the edge and branch with VeloCloud. Then there's the 4th piece of the puzzle, extend security services to the edge. We are excited to announce major enhancements to our SD-WAN security network, building out our Secure Access Service Edge, or SASE offering. This includes integration of Zero Trust Access with Workspace ONE, plus our NSX firewall and advanced web controls. In addition, we're announcing today a close partnership with Zscaler and the VMware SASE suite. You've probably noticed security is a core theme that runs through everything we do at VMware. Let's look more closely at our intrinsic security strategy. A question I hear from all of you: how do I drive a consistent security posture for all my apps and data? And that gets harder as you scale across data centers, multiple clouds, and to the edge. To address this, we are disrupting the security industry by building security controls intrinsically into the infrastructure. As your apps and data move across clouds or get decomposed into containers, they retain a consistent security posture. It's been 14 months since we combined VMware and Carbon Black, and it's a powerful union. Today, we're serving more than 20,000 security customers. Security is now a $1 billion+ business for us. We're thrilled about Carbon Black Cloud Workload. This is a new solution for hardening, configuring, and managing your virtual workloads. We've integrated it natively into vSphere to simplify operations. No agents to install or manage. To celebrate, we are offering every VMware customer a free trial of Carbon Black Workload, available free for the next 6 months. And you can extend this to an unlimited number of machines. This is a bad day for cyber criminals. The last piece of the digital foundation is shining the brightest right now: digital workspace. We just experienced the largest workforce migration in the history of humanity. Billions of people switched to a flexible distributed model, and most of us did it overnight. As we blur the boundary between work life and home life, the digital workspace has taken center stage. Workspace ONE is the leading digital workspace offering in the industry. It's all about increasing employee engagement. And at a time when remote is the new office, employee engagement is everything. Workspace ONE delivers what every employee needs: fast access to apps and services, and intrinsic security to keep them protected and safe. As we extend our corporate perimeters to embrace home office networks, it's no secret that VPNs have proven inadequate. To better support distributed teams, we're excited about our future-ready workforce solution. We're bringing together the best of three worlds: Workspace ONE, SD-WAN by VeloCloud, and Carbon Black Endpoint. Combined, a zero-trust security solution that gives employees the freedom to work from anywhere using any device they choose. Putting it all together, the digital foundation for an unpredictable world. If I had to pick a company that's really bet their strategy and their future on digital innovation, it would be Nike. Very pleased to have Nike CEO John Donahoe joining us. John, welcome. It's such a pleasure to have you with us here at VMworld.
Thanks, Pat. First, let me just say it's an honor to be here with you at VMworld and share the virtual stage with you.
Well, of course, we're all familiar with Nike, but tell us, John, are you a retailer, a manufacturer, a tech company? Just how should we think of you?
Pat, ultimately, we're a consumer company. And, we call consumers athletes, right? Our purpose is to inspire and innovate for every athlete, asterisk, in the world. And the asterisk is, if you have a body, you are an athlete.
Tell me, how has the pandemic reshaped your strategy and thinking for the future?
We want to have 2 times the direct connections with consumers. We want to have 2 times innovation and 2 times speed, double each of those things. The speed of the consumer has never been faster, and we have to be right there with them with great product and great experiences.
So let's talk about the Black Lives Matter movement. At Nike, you've been out in front on this. Tell us a bit more about that.
You may have seen our brand campaign about a month ago of Just Don't Do It. And so Nike's always tried to be a leader in fighting for racial justice, social justice, economic justice publicly.
Well, here we are at VMworld, our seminal annual event. Anything you'd like to share with our audience?
You guys are great partners, and we're very appreciative. And because we're grappling with what I think every major company is: digital transformation. And we have our own data centers. We're increasingly going to a multi-cloud, public cloud environment. And we want to deliver great consumer and employee experiences. And what you do so well is help us deliver those great consumer and employee experiences seamlessly, regardless of the data center and cloud environment. So we appreciate the partnership.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, John.
Thank you, Pat.
If you're a technologist, this is your time. We have the will to drive change, plus the environment for change, and we have the platform we need, the digital foundation for an unpredictable world. I think about all the students around the world whose lives have been disrupted. We owe it to them to act with empathy and urgency right now. We owe it to them to chart a path forward by unlocking the power of software. Each of us must play our part by building a better and more resilient future for all. It's now my pleasure to hand over to VMware COO Sanjay Poonen. Sanjay is going to dive deeper into how you, our customers, are using this digital foundation to rewrite the rules and propel your businesses forward.
Thanks, Pat. And thanks to all of you for joining us here at VMworld 2020. I would have much preferred to see all of you live and in person, with a chance to play some blues piano like I've done in previous years, but we're thrilled to be connecting in this virtual environment. My favorite part of my job as COO is talking to you, our customers. I'm constantly amazed by the digital transformations you're driving on top of VMware's mission-critical infrastructure. As you heard from Pat, our 5 priorities, app modernization, multi-cloud, digital workspace, networking, and security, come together to deliver the world's most trusted digital foundation. But every industry is unique. So we're taking these horizontal platforms, and you're going to see us increasingly deliver them as vertical industry solutions. This is the language that you speak in your line of business every day. and that's what I want to explore with you now. Let's start with healthcare. Healthcare has been at the very center of this pandemic, putting massive pressure on both public health systems and private healthcare providers. Our role at VMware in this challenging time is simply this: to serve as the digital first responder, supporting those true first responders, namely doctors and other healthcare professionals who are saving lives. Your stories, my friends, are incredibly inspiring. A great example of this is Assistance Publique Hôpitaux de Paris, APHP, the largest hospital system in Europe with over 100,000 employees serving patients across 39 hospitals in Paris. With so many COVID patients quarantined, this Paris hospital network found a way to recreate that vital link between patients and their families who were suddenly unable to visit. They used Workspace ONE as their clinical workspace, giving families an easy way to connect with their loved ones via apps like Zoom and Teams. They restored that essential human connection, and they also helped point the way towards the future of telemedicine. In a similar vein, MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, Texas, the largest cancer treatment and research center in the United States, had an urgent need to shift many of their employees to a remote work-from-home model in order to keep them safe and productive. With traditional VPN network access proving to be a bottleneck, their IT ops team leveraged the power of SD-WAN technology, ensuring fast, secure access to the cancer center's resources from any device and any location. SD-WAN is also helping hospitals deliver surge capacity of hospital beds in improvised settings like parking lots and convention centers. Let's look next at education. This segment is close to my heart, as I'm a parent with 3 school-age children at home, and I'm a big believer in the growth mindset. Brisbane Catholic Education is a learning community in Australia, overseeing 147 schools, 11,000 staff, and more than 72,000 students. Like many school systems, they were wasting time and precious resources manually deploying devices for new students, with both teachers and students struggling to overcome technical issues. This challenge only intensified during the pandemic. Their IT ops team turned to Workspace ONE to securely deploy devices and apps for new students, a process that now takes minutes instead of weeks, with the flexibility to choose any operating system and any device. More broadly, virtual desktops and digital workspaces are at the center of this massive shift to online learning, all powered by Workspace ONE. Then there's public sector. In this environment, government agencies around the world are adapting to key critical services available to their constituents with maximum resiliency. It's been inspiring to hear from so many CIOs of these agencies thanking us for the vital role that VMware teams are playing in helping them maintain their operations. When the pandemic hit, New York State faced an unprecedented spike in requests for unemployment insurance. Well, the New York State Office of Information Technology used the combination of VMware infrastructure and Horizon virtual desktops to meet the challenge. Over a single weekend, they empowered 15,000 employees to work from home and continue application development in order to meet their massive demand. Let's look next at retail, an industry that touches all of us. As entire nations went into lockdown and consumers moved to limit their human contact, retailers had to quickly adapt to omni-channel ordering and multi-location fulfillment. For Dick's Sporting Goods, having a digital strategy already in place made it easier to make this pivot. They augmented their existing buy online, pick up in store strategy to offer contactless curbside pickup. The team used the VMware Tanzu platform to modernize their existing apps while quickly building new customer-facing services. We're working with many other retailers like Target and IKEA Retail to help them accelerate their digital transformations. Let's now look deeper into the 3 elements of our any app, any cloud, any device strategy. To help us with this, we have 3 amazing VMware leaders. First up is Domain Druwitz from our Modern Apps team.
Thank you, Sanjay. That was an insightful look into the experience across a range of industry verticals. Let's dive deeper into the world of modern apps. For many businesses navigating through 2020, digital has gone from a sideshow to the main event, overnight. The companies that succeed in transforming their business model for the post-COVID digital imperative are the ones that empower developers to build and release software to production quickly and frequently. Here's the key. Allow developers to spend more time building that next killer feature and less time engineering how it can be deployed in a consistent, reliable, and secure manner. But how do you adopt the you build it, you run it model of digital-first internet companies? For developers, building is the fun part. It's the you run it part that needs to be simplified. The path to production shouldn't be a trek through Mordor. It shouldn't take 70 touch points to get code live. We shouldn't have to wait for change windows because it's safer. If you're becoming a digital-first or maybe digital-only company, you're probably releasing hundreds, if not thousands of times per week. So how do we get there from where we are today? Well, first you need to understand, what are all these steps we have today? Do we still need them? Then you need to automate and abstract away as much as you can. VMware's always been about abstractions. I'll never forget my first VMworld, 2007, standing in the back of a crowded room to hear Mendel Rosenblum explain the basic concepts of the hypervisor. His explanation of abstracting away the hardware from the operating system has stuck with me to this day. Now, in 2020, we're seeing another major abstraction go mainstream: Kubernetes. Kubernetes makes an important, fundamentally different assumption. It assumes that something, somewhere in the system, will fail, because we know that it does. But that fundamentally different assumption is what makes Kubernetes such a powerful part of building modern applications. Modern applications survive outages and failures and scale automatically because they're designed to do so. And that resiliency to failure and load spikes is exactly what we've all realized we needed in this global health crisis. This is where VMware Tanzu enters the picture. Built on Kubernetes, Tanzu raises that abstraction level across any cloud, making developers and operations teams more productive. This is useful for all applications, but it's especially valuable for those custom applications that differentiate your business and drive the business model change so many are prioritizing. Tanzu allows developers to spend less time engineering and more time developing. What about ops? With Tanzu, operations shifts from ticket-driven ops to API-driven ops. Why? The goal of DevOps isn't to turn developers into part-time ops people. If anything, it's the other way around. After all, those 70-odd steps to production aren't going to automate themselves. As digital moves from a sideshow to the main event, and as developers become more critical than ever to business success, many are scrambling to catch up. But not everyone. Take Cerner, for example. As states were locking down for COVID, the health IT company spun up a new application to visualize data on ventilators and ICU capacity on a county-by-county level. They were in production in 72 hours. Or Pfizer. When Congress passed the Paycheck Protection Program, the fintech leader built new APIs within days to help hundreds of their community bank and credit union clients process tens of thousands of loans. They released new code to production over 400 times in 4 weeks. What do these companies have in common? They've empowered their developers and their operations teams with Tanzu. So let's recap. We're all at home, eating chocolate in our closets when our kids aren't looking. We all need to suddenly become digital-first, sometimes digital-only businesses. For that to work, we need to spend more time writing code and less time manually solving how applications stay up, stay secure, and scale. Good news, Tanzu helps with this. It's built on Kubernetes, which is a new abstraction layer for automating infrastructure. But Tanzu goes beyond that to make sure developers have a simpler experience getting to production. And now, with the new vSphere with Tanzu, ops teams have a much simpler way to get started with Kubernetes and to build a platform for your devs to ship code faster and more securely. So, what are your next steps? This week, catch the Modern Apps and Kubernetes sessions at VMworld. They're delightful. Next week, sit down, virtually of course, with a couple folks from your dev team and ask them what would make it easier for you to ship code more often. Their success is your success. Finally, set a goal to have one of those big monolithic apps slowing everyone down, modernized and going to production with updates faster. If you need help, call VMware Pivotal Labs or one of the many partners with a cloud-native master competency to help you get started. There isn't time to waste. With that, I'll invite my colleague Purnima to share our Any Cloud strategy.
Thank you, Dormain, for a great overview of our modern app strategy. Now, these apps have to run somewhere, either on infrastructure or some collection of clouds. From the first public mention of cloud more than a decade ago to today's multi-cloud world, cloud has never been more important or more essential to our businesses. Worldwide, cloud services spend is up roughly 11% from previous quarter and 31% from the same period last year. And we see this in every vertical. There's a reason for that. Successful companies in this new era will not be the biggest or the fastest, but the ones that are agile, the ones that can adapt their business models to the needs of the current times. Just as cloud forever has changed the way applications are built, the next generation of applications are driving a change in the cloud. The once divided worlds of data center, cloud, and edge are now converging, and the diversity of multi-cloud, once viewed as chaotic and challenging, is emerging as a powerful source of innovation. An opportunity to access your best innovation from the cloud, roll out new business models, and gain a competitive edge. The key questions for CIOs today: how do I make sure my multi-cloud strategy is not a multi-silo story? How do I get the goodness and innovation of these clouds without creating disparate, dedicated teams? How do I get the power and agility without getting bogged down by cost and complexity? VMware has broken down the barriers of multi-cloud with a two-pronged approach. First, with VMware Cloud, we have extended our proven infrastructure from data center to major global cloud providers to the edge. And we have embedded Kubernetes into the platform, all of which enables you to run your traditional and cloud-native apps anywhere. Second, we have extended consistent multi-cloud operations beyond VMware Cloud to all native public clouds: AWS, Azure, Google, Oracle, IBM, and many more. This means you have common networking to connect all your apps with an approach that's independent of the underlying infrastructure. Common security that spans the cloud, network, devices. Common costing and planning. Common monitoring and performance management across all clouds and environments. This unique strategy is driving our momentum with customers. We have over 85 million workloads on VMware. Over 15 million enterprise workloads have already migrated to VMware Cloud across 4,000 cloud providers and 128 countries. We also manage over $11 billion of public cloud spend. Looking ahead in the growth of 5G, the growth of telco clouds, and the expansion of edge, all these will create new environments for deploying applications. And VMware's cloud strategy will deliver consistency to support apps anywhere. Later today, you can learn more in our solution showcase keynote on multi-cloud strategy. A great example of VMware Cloud in action is William Hill, a leading player in the competitive global gaming market. Around major sporting events, William Hill needs to launch hundreds of applications in seconds while giving their customers a reliable, responsive, and safe environment. To rapidly develop apps and make them available anywhere, William Hill uses VMware Cloud, Kubernetes-enabled SDDC-based cloud on-prem, VMware Cloud on AWS in the public cloud, and common management across all clouds. This allows them to easily extend their data center, scale to multiple geos, and handle peak performance. With VMware Cloud, William Hill is able to support the dynamic needs of major events such as Grand National, rolling out hundreds of product changes on demand, supporting 5x surge in capacity and 5 million price variations per day. So let's summarize our Any Cloud strategy. With VMware Cloud, we deliver a single platform for all applications, traditional or modern. A ubiquitous platform for private cloud, public cloud, telco, branch, and edge. Additionally, we provide consistent operations, common networking, security, and management across all environments, driving cost and complexity down while accelerating app initiatives. Truly, a converged solution for both developers and operators. The best part, you choose your consumption model. We offer all these as software or a service. With that, let's turn it over to my colleague, Lilit Div, who will describe our any device strategy.
Thank you, Purnima. When you think about all the devices that surround us, it's mind-blowing. We have smartphones, smart printers, even smart wearables. Clearly, we are relying more and more on these intelligent devices. This is even more true as we navigate the ins and outs of remote work. We've talked about apps that run across multiple clouds. Now let's talk about how users can access them from any device. For many of us, the home office is actually our kitchen table. In fact, the adventures of remote working never stop. I was on a Zoom video call with my team the other day when my 8-year-old son ran into the room wearing nothing but his underwear on, screaming at the top of his lungs. It was so embarrassing. Life as we know it has changed overnight. The boundaries between work and family life are permanently blended. Technology is the reason we were able to quickly transition to working remotely. As an end-user computing engineer, I'm proud of how the Workspace ONE platform has powered this new way of working. One of our customers, Thales, a multinational technology company with 80,000 employees, had to respond to COVID-19, like many of you. Workspace ONE quickly enabled their employees to work from home. HR staff gained immediate secure access to their virtual desktop from a thin client. Thales also supported their employee well-being by providing them a mental health app, which Workspace ONE delivered to all employees on their personal smartphone. Our customers didn't miss a beat. Big thanks to all of you in IT for making that happen. Hiring has also drastically changed because of working remotely. Companies now have to interview and onboard 100% virtually, which means we can now tap into the best talent wherever they are. Before their first day of work, new hires can get started using their personal device. By logging into the Workspace ONE Intelligent Hub, they can see all the apps that have already been provisioned for them. They can sign up for benefits, virtually meet their team, and choose their preferred device. Before their first day, IT can drop ship their pre-configured PC from the OEM. No more manual provisioning. Easy for IT and a great out-of-the-box experience for the employee. This is just one of the many ways Workspace ONE increases employee engagement and productivity. We also know that organizations like you are also facing security concerns. You want to create a seamless, productive, work-from-anywhere experience, but legacy technologies are standing in your way. VPNs, complex passwords, restrictive access policies are all roadblocks. Workspace ONE, Unified Access Gateway, and the Tunnel client now integrates with VMware Secure Access Service Edge platform. This integration enables secure, zero-trust access to any app, from any device, from any location, with the best performance. Furthermore, built-in integration with next-generation Carbon Black antivirus augments Horizon virtual desktops and apps. This unified approach with Workspace ONE drives IT efficiency and security. It also creates exceptional user experiences, and that's essential for today's anywhere organization. Let me tell you how the rest of my story went after my son decided to barge into my meeting. I didn't kick him out of the room or ignored him. Instead, I brought him in and introduced him to everyone. He was thrilled to know the people that I work with, and me and my colleagues got to connect on a personal level in that moment. This grand experiment of remote work has forced all of us to rethink how we use technology. We need to find more efficient ways of working. Companies that don't adapt will fall behind. A digital workspace that supports remote employees can build a more resilient tomorrow that is future-ready. Our vision of enabling any app, on any cloud, on any device, is built on a foundation of consistent networking and intrinsic security. Back to you, Sanjay.
Thank you, Lilit. VMware end-user computing is very close to my heart, as I started my time at VMware running that business unit 7 years ago. In the Security Showcase keynote later on, I will explain what makes us unique in each of the 4 areas of our focus in security: NSX for network security, Carbon Black for endpoint and workload security, Workspace ONE for device security, and Cloud Health for cloud security. We're putting a major investment in this area to be the leader in the cybersecurity industry. If you're not using VMware for security, you're missing out on some incredible innovation. More on that later. In closing, VMware is committed to helping you accelerate your digital transformation journey. We have two engines at VMware that fuel our DNA: product innovation and customer obsession. Thank you again for being with us here at VMworld 2020.